You are listening to The Joyce Aldrich Show at CHAJ 1610 AM. La voz de la comunidad, Toronto.
Is it Googleable? Everything under the sun is Googleable. Betcha $1,000,000 to 1 that if you're sleeping on a mattress and you've got an email address, you're Googleable. Do you Google all day rather than scratching your noodle? Oh, that's okay. Go on and Google, ask your browser any question. Here are just a few suggestions that people Google away. How do I get pregnant? How do I get a six-pack fast? What is a Facebook poke? How do I delete my cookies? What's the most effective diet? Is life a cosmic joke? Google apps are the best. Skeptics eventually clue in. Who might have guessed? Other than Marshall McLuhan, that the modern search for meaning would be so speedy, discreet, and oh so easy to repeat. Google anywhere, even in your underwear. Your search did not match any documents. Make sure all words are spelled correctly. Try different keywords or more general keywords. If you search for love, you will find over 2.7 trillion results. Would you like to use your current location? Who invented eggnog? How do you cure the hiccups? How much does Santa weigh? How do you spell Hanukkah? How do you make the Yuletide gay? It's the quickest, the best way to solve any dispute now. If you are stuck, I really think you should reboot now. Use the modern search for meaning. It's oh so speedy, discreet, and oh so easy to repeat. Everything is Googleable. And if you're looking for the lyrics to the song, well, you know where to find them.
And that's my first guest for this evening, the wonderful award-winning jazz singer-songwriter Ori Dagan, who of course wrote Googleable, and he is very Googleable. You can go to his website, go now, oridagan.com, and follow us through this program. Ori, wonderful to have you here. You're an international performer. You performed around the world, and you're well known here in Toronto. You're a writer. You're a singer, a songwriter, and you've helped so many people as well. You are generous, and I'm so happy to have you here on the program this evening.
It's wonderful to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, I can't. Yeah, it was wonderful. And I met you at Lisa Particelli's Girls' Night Out.
That's right.
A lot of years ago.
Yeah.
And you and I both know a wonderful lady called Sheila Jordan. I want to start with that because she had a very big effect on your career. Although you have been writing since you were 16, a poet and everything, and a talented guy. You've studied music, and this is your major. This is who you are.
It is, and she's really one of my greatest inspirations in life. For people who don't know Sheila, please look her up. She is 94 years young. Oh. She's still performing. I saw her a couple of weeks ago at the Montreal Jazz Festival.
Amazing.
It's really amazing, yeah.
And she started really in earnest when she was about 57, 58.
Actually, no. She started singing. This is the thing about her. She started singing when she was 12 years old, maybe younger. Actually, she said she was on the radio singing pop songs of the day. But alluding to what you're saying, she just kind of kept going. She made her first album when she was 32 years old. It was the first time a female vocalist was on Blue Note. Mm-hmm. The album was Portrait of Sheila in 1963. And then she didn't record again for another 12 years.
I think that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Because she had, you have kids, you have to work. You have to go and make,
She was a secretary.
That's
right. And she just kind of, her thing is that she tells all her students, and that I tell all my students, and anyone who wants to do this music, is the secret is dedication. And Even if that means singing once a month somewhere in a little dive bar. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just have to keep it going. Keep the music going. And if you're good to the music, it'll be good to you.
Well, she said it was life-saving for her. So how did she influence you?
Well, I met Sheila in 2001. She was performing at a club that closed that night. She was the last person performing there. It was called the Top of the Senator, legendary Toronto club, right? So that's when I met her in 2001, and I actually at that time was doing a lot of writing as a journalist about jazz music. So I interviewed her.
That was One Note, right? That was for the
Whole Note.
The Whole Note.
You know what? I don't even remember what it was for. It might have been a website. I don't remember, but maybe it was for the Whole Note. I think I interviewed her a total of 4 times. I did do a big feature on her for the Whole Note later on.
Yes.
But I kind of followed her around. You know, she does a lot of wonderful teaching as well. She was one of the first person to teach jazz vocals in New York City in the 1970s.
Wow.
So I studied with her, and I learned a lot from her. And, you know, she's never really had a manager. She's been doing it all on her own. People have been booking her all her life because she's so great. And she's
married to a very famous pianist as well.
Well, because he works with Charlie Parker.
That's right, with Bird.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, so you have been tutored in a lot of ways. Did you go to one of her Vermont?
I did. I went to a whole bunch of her workshops when she was in town. She used to do those, and also the intensive in Vermont. And then one of the highlights of my career for sure was on my 3rd record. We did a duet together, Straighten Up and Fly Right.
Yeah, I wish I had that tonight, but I'm going to play it on subsequent shows for sure. It's fabulous. And that video, by the way, people go look at that video on YouTube. It is precious.
Yeah,
precious.
That was a lot of fun.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it is. So you have not just been playing here in Toronto. You've traveled to Japan. Where else have you? Because and why did that happen? Why did you all of a sudden, people want to know, how is it that people go from the local scene to the international scene?
Well, it's not easy to do. But I really love doing it. Honestly, it's so amazing to play this music outside of one's local. I mean, I do love working here in Toronto, and
sure,
it's a great city. But I yearn to travel to places where jazz is a little bit more popular.
Canada has its own idiosyncrasies.
Well, Canada, there's everything here, and I think that's, on one hand, that's great. But, jazz is really kind of an underground thing here. So this year I got a chance to have my debut in Japan and also a few months ago in Germany. And
beautiful.
Both of those places, it was very inspiring to have audiences that are so engaged and so fascinated and so quiet.
Oh, yes. It's a quiet.
It was really nice.
Trying to find those quiet spaces where people just don't, chatter all over. Yeah, no, it's a different culture too in Japan.
Of course,
there's a different kind of respect for art.
There's no garbage anywhere in Japan. This is one of the things that
really,
even like the subway. I went on the subway a whole bunch of times, and I was so blown away. Like, it's so clean and orderly. Everything's on time. It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, no. I think it's like that in South Korea as well. It's got that same kind of vibe. Yes, that would be me. Because we're Googleable.
I got a chance to visit South Korea as well. Actually,
did you?
In 2018, I went there twice.
Where?
In Seoul.
In Seoul, okay.
One of the tunes on my 3rd record, Nathaniel, is actually called Bibimbap.
Oh,
and I had a music video for that got into a children's film festival. So they invited me to attend. And I just thought, this is a sign. I've got to go. I'm going.
Absolutely.
And I made it there. And I, through a really great friend of mine, booked a few little dates. I was playing in my first time and haven't played since in a cigar lounge.
Ooh, nice.
In Seoul. Well, I still smell that cigar.
Oh, well, I suppose so.
But it was fun. I love playing. You've seen me play. That's the reason I make recordings, is to work in front of an audience.
And you play with a lot of different people.
I do.
We have great musicians here in the city. We are so blessed. It's hard not to find a good musician. There's
so many of them here. It's an embarrassment of riches here.
It is, because where do we put them all, and where are all the venues? Because the venues are disappearing.
Well, I think it really behooves us as people who are passionate about this experience of live music to support it and to promote it. Because I think in the past, 25 years, our whole world has changed so much. And the experience of live music has become a lot more underground. Like when people think, like young people today, when you talk to them about music, a lot of times they think you just mean, what do you mean? Like on your phone, like Spotify, whereas a long time ago, when you said music, people would automatically think, ooh, club hall or,
Well, you'll be playing. When you're here to promote that, the
Sure.
summer music in the park at Yorkville. They have a wonderful, wonderful program there, and that's that's from June 16th to September 4th. And you're going to be playing this July 21st, this Friday. Yeah, what time?
You know what?
11:30 to 2:30.
11:30 to 2:30. So
at the Rock.
A very unusual time for a jazz musician to be playing.
But wonderful because you're going to be exposing so many people to that wonderful
That's what I
jazz.
love. Absolutely.
It's a great day. Lots of people shopping, lots of people out there enjoying the sun and hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. It's always fun. I really love working in these situations. I mean, Toronto, one of the interesting things about this city is that it has such a crazy range of weather. I mean, in the winter here, it could be like minus 35 Celsius. And in the summer, it could approach 35 or 40 Celsius. So it's always really, really fun in the summer to be able to play outdoors and to surprise people. That's what I love. I mean, jazz to me is really about surprise anyways.
Sure.
But I love just kind of making people smile as they're walking, to their wherever they're going.
Well, you got a nice stage there, and it's a beautiful area and wonderful venue as far as that's concerned. I played there last year, and I really enjoyed it. It was a very windy day, though. There were 90-kilometer hours, and Michelle said, don't tell anyone about that, but it's such a good story. Because I was playing with Bill King, and just before we started to play about 15 minutes before, he's got his briefcase, and he's opening it up, and all 32 charts just lifted up in the air and flew down the street.
Amazing.
I know. And all the
What'd you do?
We didn't have to. The people of Yorkville, like he said, people with small dogs, people in love in designer jogging suits, men in nice suits, all ran down and they picked up all our music. And
How
they
wonderful.
brought it to, it was amazing. I had a lot of rumpled pieces of music to put back together, but it was amazing. We had a great gig. Worked out fine. I was there with Chris Berg and Bill King. Fabulous gig. Fabulous. And people were out there. They come out.
Well, I'm going to be working with Jordan Clapman on the keys
and
Carrie Chestnut on saxophone.
Oh, that's going to be so nice.
It's really going to be fun.
Sax suits your voice so beautifully.
Yes, it's my favorite instrument.
Oh, yeah. And so we'll be seeing Ori at the Summer Music in the Park on July 21st, and a lot of other really great artists are going to be there because I'm here to promote that as well. Because Michelle Trutzi-Tripsch, wonderful person. She's an icon. It's like, you've heard of the King of Kensington?
Yeah.
She's the Queen of Yorkville.
Love it.
She has been there since it was Yorkville, the old Yorkville, the hippie Yorkville. She had a beauty salon, a 2-seat beauty salon. She just worked her way up, and she has been there. And since her son started playing music, and when he did, she took in more of an interest and tried to get him gigs, and then became involved in the music scene in Yorkville and became a booker.
Awesome.
Yeah, booking people in Sassafras, all different places for different events. So she's the go-to person. She's just wonderful. So
thank you.
Thank
you, Michelle.
I want to do a shout out to Michelle.
That's
because
great.
the bookers are often unsung heroes, especially people who really work hard and care about the musicians they're hiring. So that's Michelle. There you go, Michelle. I'm telling you. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to be playing Viruses. Now, can you set that up for us, please? Because
sure.
That's an award-winning song.
It is. It's the opening tune from my most recent recording, which is called Click Right Here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a song, Click Right Here. I'm very proud of it. It's an album that I wrote. Whenever I've played Googleable in my shows, people always said to me, who wrote that song? And I said, I did. They're like, you got it about the 21st century world. And so in the back of my mind, I always thought, oh my goodness, I should really write a whole album like this. And I always said, but I don't have time. And then, We had. So I was like, okay, I got to just do this. And I was really lucky to receive a recording grant from the Foundation Assisting Canadian Talent on Recording. That's Factor. Yes, and Factor really makes so many things possible for Canadian artists.
Yes.
And so that's what I did. And I wrote a whole bunch of tunes, some on my own, some with my amazing collaborator, Nathan Hiltz, who is a guitar player, composer, educator that I really love working with.
He's fabulous.
He's wonderful.
Oh,
so
such a guy.
You know, it was kind of a Click Right Here, which is available on Bandcamp if you want to buy a vinyl or a CD.
And Bandcamp's really good because they really support the artists.
They do. Check out Bandcamp. Yeah. But anyway, Click Right Here, you can find it wherever you listen to music. And it's a darkly humorous album, you know, because we're in a time right now in the digital world where I think you have to find the humor in it sometimes.
Yes.
You know, but Viruses is a song that it opens the record. It features one of my favorite musicians in the world.
Yes.
She's a Toronto treasure, Jane Bennett.
Yeah, saxophone and flute.
She's a world famous musician.
Another one who's helped so many Cuban musicians, especially.
That's right. She's an amazing person, and she's an amazing artist. And it also features a rapper. By the name of Eric Flo. I always wanted to. I thought because I'm writing something so contemporary, I wanted to include a rapper, and he's my favorite.
Okay, well, we're going to hear Viruses right after this break, and and hope you. If you catch anything, it'll be your love of Ori Dagan's music. Right after this.
CHHA 1610 AM.
What you do, careful what you don't do, careful when you click and where you share, careful what you open, careful what you search for. Don't you know they're hoping to leave you in the lurch for viruses? They're everywhere, mother viruses. They're everywhere, viruses. They're everywhere, mother viruses. They're everywhere. Say I don't care.
You can't say I don't care.
You gotta beware.
You must beware.
Just like insolence, just like violence, just like ignorance, and there is no consequence.
Still played by what's behind us. They claim to know who's to blame, but it's still too vague, really who's the tyrant. I ain't playing in this game, I'm tired. At the same time, can't be silent. I got humble fever, but if I don't jam, then they guns won't either. Okay, check this. What if love was infectious? Any other bug, we be in a rut. With this in the tug, we're protected. But we ain't got enough of it, it's hectic. To heal, we need a new perspective. For real, our nature's been neglected. Hate how hate goes viral every second.
I'm writing to you from the government. Your computer has been infected. Click right here to download the software that will in turn steal your data before you get a chance to say, mother viruses, they're everywhere. Viruses, they're everywhere.
Hey, viruses.
Oh, they're everywhere. Mother viruses, they're everywhere.
Check this out. That's inflammation for your information. Been the doctor and I've been the patient. Never in the matrix. Apart from all these viruses, life is still amazing.
You can't say I don't care. You gotta beware. Viruses.
Careful.
I want a two. I want to. At times I wonder where my life would be if I never heard the music of bird. Back when I was just a kid, I'd listen to each precious note floating out of his horn so many years ago. What a treat It used to be for me to hear him, the thrill of being near him. I lived for every song that he played from his heart. Bird brought a special world to me, I believe in the way I've learned to live my life from the dues that he paid. He turned me on to sounds I never heard before by playing all those magical tones in every single phrase. Somehow I find it rather strange knowing that there are those of us who really love him, while so many aren't even aware of his name. I feel blessed that I grew up spending all of those wonderful years surrounded by the joy that he gave. There's nothing in life that could ever have the meaning for me, or could give me the thrill of hearing Charlie Parker. Oh mama, hey mama, why don't you go on and take a walk? At times I wonder where my jazz singing would be if I never heard the music of Sheila Jordan. Would I ever have the guts to do a gig with bass and voice, no ifs, ands, or buts? But it really does puzzle me that there are jazz fans who don't know this woman's name. But then again, she never did anything for money or for fortune or for fame. I love all the records that she did record. Above all, I'm inspired that she did each and every single one on her own accord. I want to thank you, Sheila Jordan, for being such an inspiration to me. I long to be, I long to be, I long to be, I long to be, I long to be exactly like you.
And Ori Dagan.
Oh my gosh, I haven't heard that in a long time.
Well, that's apparently set the tone for all your future music, all the beautiful scat, and your wonderful bass voice. And yeah, the saxophone suits your voice, but also the bass. And Sheila
bass.
Jordan.
Well, she originated that
she
form,
did that.
exactly.
Absolutely. So that was a hat off to Sheila Jordan's song. And of course, before that, we had Viruses, which is from your Click Right Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. EPK. And that's out now. Where can people get it?
Bandcamp. Yep. Or come to my show.
Come to your show. And your show is going to be, you've got a show coming up Tuesday, July 18th at 8 o'clock at Reed's Distillery, 32 Logan Avenue. It's the Beatles songbook. Who doesn't want to hear the Beatles?
I'm so excited. I love working on tributes to other artists and the Beatles. I mean, come on. The Beatles are really fun to interpret because the genius of their work was really in the songwriting, you know, and so there's a lot of room to kind of add your own interpretation. But the songs are so beautiful and they're so nostalgic. So I'm excited
they're
for
classic.
that. And I'm working with the wonderful Christopher Plock. And he's a wonder to behold. He will be playing saxophone and flute and drums and backup vocals.
It's not easy to switch from saxophone to flute. Because,
no kidding.
Yeah, that's real talent, like the same with Jane Bennett. So you're going to be at
Reed's Distillery, 32 Logan Avenue, right off of the Danforth.
Oh, easy to get to. And, of course, on the July 21st, between 11:30 and 2:30 at Yorkville, right at the Rock there in Cumberland.
Yep.
For sound music. I can say summer music in the park in Yorkville. Fabulous, all summer long. And, of course, we're going to go to break again because we're listening to a lot of wonderful music right now from Ori Dagan. But when you come back, you'll be talking about Click Right Here.
Sure.
2 songs lined up. We've got Four Brothers and A Rebirth of the Cool. So you want to set that up?
Sure. Well, actually, Four Brothers is from my first record, Scat Got My Tongue.
Is it?
It is.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. And Rebirth of the Cool is from Click Right Here.
That's right. And Four Brothers, so that's fabulous. The scatting on that.
So that one's
amazing.
Inspired by another favorite of mine, Anita O'Day,
Anita O'Day.
Yeah,
wonderful.
she recorded that song. That's where I got the idea. I mean, it's originally a song that was composed for 4 saxophone players. They were known as the Four Brothers. And I heard Anita O'Day do a vocal version of it, and it really knocked me out. And in fact, I mean, I got to meet Anita when I presented her in concert. It was my first big time producing a concert in York University, and that was in 2005.
What an experience that must have been.
Yeah, she was 85 years old at the time. So it was really, really amazing to be able to do that, and I'm glad it worked out. She passed away just a couple of years after that. So it was really an amazing experience.
Wonderful. I had tried to get in touch with her one point in time before that. And yeah, wonderful artist. Well, okay, so we're going to go to break again. And we're going to come back with some more wonderful Ori Dagan. So we'll come back with Four Brothers and Rebirth of the Cool from his newest EPK, Click Right Here.
From Toronto, Canada, CHHA 1610 AM, the voice of our community, because we are a part of your daily life.
You are listening to The Joyce Aldrich Show at CHHJ 1610 AM. La voz de la comunidad, Toronto.
Sometimes I find myself running out of space on the vinyl shelf. I can't get enough of this heavenly music. It's not the Philharmonic, but it works like a tonic. Talking about the priceless soul of Nat King Cole, the timeless moan of Nina Simone, the genius punk named Thelonious Monk. Oceans of blood, sweat and tears, many years, inspiration will never run dry. Inspiration will never run dry. Look out, jazz is cool again, inspiring even foolish hooligans to feel the joy, to feel the freedom of swing again. Rebirth of the cool, rebirth of the cool. Whoa, whoa. Talking about the magical styles of Miles, the charming way of Carmen McRae, the legend of a young Mr. Lester Young. Oceans of blood, sweat and tears, many years, inspiration will never run dry. It's time to listen up, time to fill your cup, to feel the ripple, the world is catching up to the splashing waves of freedom. Rebirth of the cool, rebirth of the cool, rebirth of the cool, rebirth of the cool.
if you're just tuning in now to CHHA 1610 AM, it's 7:39, 25 degrees on this wonderful July day. And we have in studio Ori Dagan, and that was Birth of the Cool. And then before that, Four Brothers. And if you want to know what other people are saying about him, Now Magazine says the Toronto singer-songwriter is both a Rat Pack style jazz singer, scatter, and the kind of community builder and scene cheerleader that we need. And just recently, he has been nominated. Ori Dagan named one of the 2023 annual Critics Poll's top rising male vocalists, and that's from Downbeat Magazine and CBC Radio 1, another radio station. Says he's Canada's top next top crooner, and I absolutely agree with that. And HuffPost says that Dagan's vocal genius is off the charts, achieving a whole new level. And your jazz, or it is unique to you, and it is cool, and it doesn't lack any of what the Rat Pack jazz had, and it adds so much more because it brings it up to modern times in modern ways.
Well, thank you, Joyce. That's so nice.
It's true.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, the essence of jazz music, in my mind, has always been about being in the moment. Yeah. You know, in the sense that, you know, you can sing the same song every night and it always comes out a little bit different. Mm-hmm. For me, on a grander scale, I just like to, whenever possible, bring the music to the moment that we live in. So that's why, as much as I love doing standards, and I still sing a lot of standards, you know, like when I'm going to be in Yorkville, I bet I'll be doing mostly standards. People love standards. People connect to standards. But that being said, you know, it's always been important to me to bring the music forward with new compositions, new lyrics, things that keep it relevant and keep it moving forward. And also, I think it's really important to engage with younger people.
It is. And there are two things there with Click Right Here. First, engaging with younger people. They can relate to it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, when they wrote songs back in the 1930s, it was about the Depression. 1920s, it was about the Roaring 20s and the lifestyle. It was all about the lifestyle. It was the 30s, the 40s,
exactly.
the war era, and the 50s with when things started to change post-war. So they really are historical statements.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got to be current and living in the moment to be relevant. So it's always been really important to me to kind of keep pushing through that. Even, you know, no matter what happens, you have to, as Sheila Jordan says, dedication is the key. Yes. And it might not be the most popular thing, but you've got to be true to yourself and true to the music.
That's right. But, you know, they say write something you know. Write about what you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And writing is very important for you. It has been important all your life.
That's true, yes.
And it's so wonderful that you took that young boy who at 16 was writing poetry is now writing all. What kind of poetry did you write?
Well, you know, that was interesting. I won the English award in my high school.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, and I didn't know. I had no idea. I was so shy back then. No. I mean, really, no, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I kind of overcame shyness by way of necessity. Just I was like, well, I'm in front of an audience now. I've got to talk to them.
Yeah.
But I wrote one collection of poetry that was all rhyme. You know, it was like literally like Shakespeare inspired. I wrote sonnets and stuff like that. And then the next one I wrote was inspired by Margaret Atwood, and it was all
my
free
favorite
verse. I know.
Author.
Oh, she's amazing.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So, and you know what's funny? It took me years and years to realize that scat singing is poetry. Like that's how I think of it. Like when I do scat singing, I always try, even in an unconscious way, I'm trying to make things rhyme.
Makes sense.
Isn't that cool?
That's absolutely
cool.
I
mean, it really took it. That wasn't a conscious thing. Because I kind of gravitated towards scat singing. That was my first love in jazz. I was listening to Ella Fitzgerald, of course, and Anita O'Day and Sarah Vaughan. And then later I got into really sophisticated scat singers like Betty Carter, Lambert Hendrickson Ross, Bobby McFerrin, all, of course, right? And later, you know, I started with that, and then I got really, really inspired by Billie Holiday about, you know, telling a story and moving people, and artists like Dinah Washington. Yeah, there's
another historical music.
Of course, absolutely. So, you know, I mean, when I started with jazz, it was all about scat singing for me. And, you know, now I do it as a special effect. I'll throw it in once in a while. But I kind of really love the job of a singer being moving people, telling a story.
It's the balladeer.
And making people happy. A few nights ago, I got a chance to play my first candlelight concert.
Oh.
It was super fun. It's this new fad. It's all around the world. Candlelight concert. Check it out.
How's that going?
And it was at the Parkdale Hall. It was the music of Frank Sinatra and Nat King Cole. And it was full. I mean, it was packed. There must have been, we did 2 shows. We must have had close to 500 people in attendance.
Beautiful.
They didn't know that we were a jazz band. That was the funny part. They just love Nat King Cole and Frank Sinatra. And I thought that was really, really interesting because those artists, to me, are jazz, but that was exactly at the time.
They were the pop artists of their day, too.
Exactly.
That's the thing. It's pop and jazz is a very, where people think it's jazz, maybe it was really pop of the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day. But what I mean is the way we were performing them.
Yes.
I mean, you know what? I didn't really scat in that show, but I was certainly swinging, and I was phrasing the way I always do, which is, improvising. So it was a great show. It's always fun when you have a great audience and a great band.
It is, and when you have someone like you up on stage, you're riveting, and you're a real performer. I like the way you dress. I like the way you respect your audience, and I think that's very important. A lot of musicians don't go out there ready to present themselves to their audience. You don't go out on stage dressed the way your audience is.
Well, you know what? It's a good point. I mean, when I make music, it's for the audience, and that's my inspiration. That's why when I started recording, I've done 4 albums now, and I enjoy it more each time.
Yes.
Let's put it that way. Like the last record, Click Right Here, was really cool because I had an 8-piece band with me, and I was into it. But the first record, Scat Got My Tongue, I had no idea what to do. I went into the studio, and I was just so shocked. I'm like, there's no audience. How do I do this? And I had to literally
it's like
imagine.
Radio.
I had to. It is exactly right. I mean, that was something also I learned during the pandemic when I did my live stream show on Facebook. It really is like radio. It's like you have to just kind of focus on the fact that people are listening, and even if you can't see them, they're there.
Well, I want to say to our listeners, we're going to be going to break now, and you're listening, I know, from all around Lake Ontario, and even on Lake Ontario if you're on a sailboat right now or a catamaran. And we're here coming to you from CHHA 1610 AM with Ori Dagan. And when we come back, we're going to swing a little bit. We're going to play Would You Swing My Way?
Wicked,
yeah, right after this.
I remember the very first time I clicked on your profile. Ding, when I read your first message, I couldn't breathe. It seemed too good to be true to discover that you clicked on me too. Many people said it couldn't last, so why even bother? Ha, online dating is stupid, that's what they said. They were wrong, we were wed on a hot August day. There was no way it was that perfect day. Sounds so cliche, but the third time I saw you, my heart started to sing. Ring ding ding, da ding ding ding. Went my cell and my heartstrings. I'm so happy we swiped to the right. Everything now is more than alright. I'm so grateful we gave love a chance. When we clicked on romance. Ding da ding ding ding, da ding ding ding. Where's my device? Ding da ding ding ding, da ding ding ding. That sure was nice. swipe to the right. Everything now is more than alright. I'm so grateful we gave love a chance when we clicked on romance. Ding, ding, ding. Oh yeah.
CHHA 1610 AM, the first and only Hispanic radio station in Canada from Toronto to the world.
I remember seeing you that gray November day, beaming like the sun, melting my broken heart away. And I remember wondering, what would you say? Or would you swing my way? Would you stay for a day? Well, guess what happened next? I woke up to no text. I didn't have the guts to face your nose, ifs, ands, or buts. Then on the 1st of May, I finally mustered the courage to catch up and say, baby, would you swing my way? I remember seeing you that gray November day, beaming like the sun, melting my broken heart away. And I remember wondering, what would you say? Would you swing my way? Would you stay for a day? Well, that made me feel so vexed to wake up to no text. I was too afraid to ask, but now I've taken off my mask. Baby, 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 are you up to the task? Would you swing my way? Next, ding, 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 your text, and then, hallelujah, amen, baby, I'm so glad I found the guts to ask you, baby, would you swing my way? Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I think a little bit of AI took over there. We've been talking so much about technology. It just swiped one of your songs, and so we got to actually play another song before that. So, and that was, of course,
Clicked on Romance.
Clicked on Romance from Click Right Here, which is an album you should go and get on Bandcamp, and go to oridagan.com. And that's ORIDAGAN.com. And I want to talk about summer music in the park. It's very important because that is it's a summer tradition at Bloor in Yorkville, and you can stroll through the neighborhood, have a seat by the big rock, on the rock, tap your feet to the smooth summer sounds ranging from, they got classic jazz this year with Stephen Coven Trio, Jesse White Quartet, pop folk sounds. They've got David Celia and Zufalo, and Dr. Draw, amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I love Dr. Draw. Farukas, Latin duo, the Deadlies Celtic performance, traditional New York and New Orleans jazz, with the West End Riverboat Band. They're going to be wonderful. That's New Orleans jazz. And this takes place from June 16th to September 4th on Fridays from 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And you'll be playing this Friday from 11:30 to 2:30 p.m.
Indeed.
On 21st of July.
We take requests.
Yes, you do. Exactly. And you go talk to Ori. And Saturdays, Sundays, and statutory holidays between 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And Michelle will be sitting out there and taking lots of videos of all the performers. She's wonderful. So, Ori, we're just coming up to the end of the program. Can you believe it?
Can't believe it.
2.5 minutes left. So
thanks so much for having me and for featuring my music. It's been fun to chat.
I play your music all the time on a regular basis. It's so wonderful.
Thank you.
So I need you to send me the Sheila Jordan
I
stuff.
Promise.
Yes.
I promise I will.
Wonderful. And so happy to have you here tonight. And you are up and rising. You, we're going to have to put you into our top 40 chart people soon, you know?
Okay.
Absolutely. So, again, we have Ori Dagan in studio. And so what would you like to tell people before you sign off about jazz, about music, any...
Well, before I forget, the best way to keep on top of me, besides my website, is on social media, Ori Dagan Jazz.
Of course.
I'm on all of them. It's how I consume my time. But I love it because it's a way to stay connected to my fans, and it's fun. You know,
you do some live performances on Facebook too.
I do. I did one one yesterday.
Yeah,
I used to do it every week during the COVID times, and so it became a regular thing. And now I really struggle to find the energy and time to do that from home because I'm so dedicated to performing live and tour whenever I can and play locally when I can. But I'd like to try to do the online thing at least once a month because I really think it's an important thing to do to stay connected to people everywhere.
It is. So people who are listening to us here and you're not in Toronto, you're listening online internationally, go to oridagan.com and Ori Dagan Jazz.
Yes.
And you can hear him there and connect and buy the music and enjoy it. And, you know, after we finish here with Ori, we've got Rosita Stone coming on.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And she's I've got two of you, like a stellar 2 hours. I can't believe I got two of you in studio at the same time. It's amazing. So we'll be signing off right now with Ori. And when we come back, we're going to be hearing some of Rosita Stone's music, and she'll be playing live for us as well. Got lots to talk about in the next hour. Don't go away. Stay glued to your seats. And thank you so much. We'll be going to commercial right now, and we'll be back.
Listen to us all around the world. Visit chha1610am.ca for new content daily.
You are listening to The Joyce Aldrich Show at CHAJ 1610 AM. La voz de la comunidad, Toronto.